recent camps, official visits, official visit weekends coming up. What's on the docket? What are the headliners?
Clemson just held their official visit weekend, the first weekend in June. Had probably about close to 20 uncommitted guys. Saw 3 of them jump on board right after that. Linebacker Sammy Brown, wide receiver Bryant Wesco, wide receiver TJ Moore. Kind of been a little bit quiet since. Most of those guys are following through and taking more visits. Safety Ricardo Jones is going to announce one day next week. I think it's the 29th. He's still got an official visit scheduled to Florida State. If that visit happens, I think it's probably going to. If that visit does indeed happen, I think Florida State's going to have to knock it out the park to land him. I think he's probably a very strong Clemson lean at this point. A couple projections out there projecting him to Clemson already before the visit even takes place. I think Clemson's in really good shape with him. But the one position that I'm keeping an eye on is the offensive line. Clemson's still yet to land an offensive lineman in this class. Had 6 of them on hand that weekend. Thought they made moves with 2 guys in particular. William Satterwhite, Fletcher Westfall. Satterwhite looks like it's coming down to Clemson, Tennessee. He's still got a Tennessee visit to take. So I have to see where things stand after that. Last time I touched base with him, he told me that Clemson was at the top of his list. In his top 2, obviously that other school would be Tennessee. And I think they made a move with Fletcher Westfall. But he's 6'8", big-time offensive lineman. He's a guy that's going to follow through and take all his visits, too. He's been to Georgia since. He's got a few more on the docket. Told me after that Clemson official visit weekend, though, that Clemson set the bar extremely high, and he was very anxious to see how some of these other schools measured up when it comes to putting these kind of events together. Said he was getting mail from President Clements at Clemson, and that is the only school in which a president sends him mail. President met with him on that weekend. So I mean, there's a lot to like about Clemson's chances with this kid. It's not going to be an easy pool, though. He's one of the best offensive linemen still out there that's uncommitted. A couple more guys to keep an eye on. Jamison Riggs. He's a guy that's really hard to get a good read on. Doesn't do any interviews really. And one more in Michael Ooney. Kid out of Texas. I know he really likes Clemson a lot, but again, he's going to take all his other visits. Michigan's going to be one of the schools that are the primary competition. Still waiting for Clemson to land that first offensive lineman, though. We'll see if they have to expand the board at some point. They want to take at least 3 in this class. I can see them possibly getting to 4 if they find a 4th they like. But have yet to land one, so you got to start somewhere. Got to get that first domino to fall at some point.
Jason, is there anyone out of these 2024 commits that you still think everybody needs to keep an eye on? You're keeping an eye on that could possibly still be like seriously interested, despite, in addition to just taking visits, could seriously be looking at other schools still?
Guys that are already committed?
Yes.
Nah. I think they're all locked in. Dabo's got a pretty strict policy about taking no visits once you're committed.
Yeah.
They want to make sure you're 100% on board. I mean, never say never, but I think these guys that are already locked in are going to stay locked in. I don't see a guy like Sammy Brown making a decision unless he knew he was 100% confident in that decision. He's a 5-star linebacker out of Georgia. Same thing with Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore, the 2 guys that have also committed since that weekend. Clemson has been telling all these receivers they've got 2 spots, first come, first serve. So you had 2 jump on board fairly early or fairly quickly after that weekend. Still think Clemson's going to get to 3 receivers. Somehow, some way, Mike Matthews is still out there. He's still a take, absolutely. Still got a visit coming up with Tennessee. That's probably Clemson's biggest competition. But you take him as an athlete if you have to. We'll see how it shakes out. Had one receiver tell me Clemson was still an option for him, Alex Taylor. I've seen another one publicly go on record say Clemson was no longer an option for him because they were only taking 2. So we'll see. That was Braylon Staley. So we're going to have to see how this thing plays out. But I still think Clemson's going to get 3 receivers somehow, some way. Again, TJ Moore, Bryant Westco, 2 big-time guys already on board.
Our guy Jason Priester stopping by, and you can stop by Jason's work, allclemsontigers.com. And Jason joining us on a regular basis to talk up the Tigers, and looking forward to all the conversations as we get close to August camp and maybe some position previews. Jason, appreciate you being here. Enjoy the summer, and we'll continue to track you down when we get some more commits and some more news.
Anytime, man. Always a pleasure, Mark. Thanks.